It's been 2 long years between the releases of Spinning Egg Zone Episode 4 and Episode 5. When we finally came back, a premiere was set up at the very last minute with no more than 8 hours heads up. Despite the short notice and, let's be honest, very small fan base, some of you guys actually showed up. This, along with some very, very nice comments, have been extremely heartwarming. The love is appreciated. The 5th episode stars Sally as the protagonist. Fittingly, I think a discussion about her character would be very appropriate for our return. Let's start off by discussing the conceptual history of the character. Sally is actually one of the original characters that appeared in the Spinning Eggs in Episode 1, Tears, along with Sonic, Ivo, Tails, Knuckles, and the Dark Lord, Takashi Iizuka. The truth is, originally, Sally was just there to fill out a role. I didn't really have any plans for her in the future. I cast her as a director and obviously Iizuka's way to contact Sonic and Ivo. I would say, honestly, she was less of a character and more of a vessel for Iizuka. In the Archie series, Sally was a character I always liked. However, at the time I wanted to focus exclusively on Sonic and Ivo. As I said in the originals behind the Spinning Egg, the series was originally conceived as a buddy series. But, as time went on, more characters were given more importance and a purpose in the whole world. While Dark Lord Iizuka basically remained the same. After all, he is pretty perfect. Sonic became more of a self-involved egotist, and Ivo became world-weary and ultimately defeated. Spinning Egg Zone Episode 2 Interview was a character-focused episode that acted as a method of setting up how we want to portray each character. We introduced many new characters, from Silver to Rouge, even a Toaster and Gamma. Sally was nowhere to be seen, though one line would later prove to be a possible plot hole.
I really don't know anything about her. Kind of forget she exists sometimes.
In Episode 2, I think my mindset was to write her off entirely at this point. Sally was mentioned to have the same role as one featured. However, Sonic claims that he forgets that she exists, implying that Sally has very little interaction with Sonic. Obviously, that's not the case these days, though Sonic being Sonic, could be argued that he forgets that she exists until he needs her attention. However, fun fact, I do kind of reference this line a little bit. A lot of times when he's talking to her, he'll change her name up. It could be Sally, could be Ricky, could be something else entirely, Samantha maybe. Sally didn't hold any relevance until Episode 4, where she was given a much bigger role. She was shown to be frustrated with Sonic antics and has developed a drinking habit. Her role in the company has been amplified. General Manager, Lord Secretary, Assistant Director, Head of Finance, and Corporate Babysitter, giving her a large number of thankless tasks. She takes her job seriously, while nobody reads the damn memos. Finally, we're at Episode 5, which expands a lot of what 4 introduced. And we get the biggest dive into what Sally's life really is. We knew that Sonic frustrates her, but we can see just how much he does, and how he's not alone in doing so. Everyone seems to pester her. Everyone comes to her for ridiculous, often frivolous nonsense. From Amy to Vector, her world is filled with stupid requests, and it starts with the marching orders from Dark Lord Iizuka. She copes with a heavy amount of alcohol, which slowly destroys her from the inside, all just to handle the external soul-sucking force that is Sonic Team. Still, she's not alone in her plight. While undoubtedly she has the most work shoved onto her, some others like Ivo still find themselves at the corporate blade that is the gaming industry. And Misery? Misery loves company. To be clear, I don't mean that in the sense that Sally wants to torment Ivo, though she does have the responsibility of axing Ivo's pay every time the company wants to save a buck. But she does at least take comfort in knowing that she's not alone. As far as what type of character she is, I'd say that Sally's the uninterested weapon of Dark Lord Iizuka, while simultaneously being a shield from him. More often than not, she does his bidding. She needs the money as ultimately a company person. But there are times where she's willing to take a stand for what is ultimately right. To be clear, she needs to catch a glimpse of humanity to do so. But these moments do exist. Not only a weapon, Sally is the middleman. All the requests are filtered by her. Rarely does one get to speak to Iizuka without being summoned. They speak to Sally. This may sound like Sally is only taking orders, but she is legitimately the one that keeps the corporation moving. She has to manage the day-to-day operations. Without her, the company would fall apart. She plays a pivotal role in balancing the needs of the company and managing Iizuka's, along with everybody else's, random whims. Truly, Sally is a tightrope walker. She isn't the glue that holds everyone together, but she is the glue that holds a company together. She is the personification of Sega's ability to stay floating despite the hardships and suffering. After all, she absorbs alcohol at an alarming rate, but still keeps moving. Honestly, I would say Sally's the character that many people would actually say, it's me. The tired, cynical employee who has to deal with the ridiculous wishes of an entity that simply can't fend for themselves. Customer service, human resource management, she's all this and more. With relationships, for the vast majority, she's simply a figurehead. In the context of humor, she's there to play it a straight man, while character after character has wilder and weirder ideas. But there are 3 who stand out in episode 5. Each represent a different aspect of her limited social life. Iizuka, who started her day filled it with demand after demand, each more taxing than the last. Her relationship with him is that he is the representation, that is the cruel entity of the corporate world. She cannot defy him, at least to his face. In the corporate world, to go against the boss, the Dark Lord who has power among his realm, is to risk employment. With Sonic, throughout episode 5, Sonic was the constant. He was a reoccurring pest that didn't seem to go away. For her, this represents the client. For many, the client may be customers. They may be fellow employees. For Sally, it's the latter. They must be tolerated, especially if the powers that be have adopted a motto of, the customer is always right. And finally, there's Ivo. In episode 5, Ivo closed out her client list, bar Sonic, who, again, won't go away. He represents genuine friendship. Ivo is right there with her when it comes to misery. If she's overworked, he's underpaid. In employment, there's usually someone you can latch onto as a presentation of some form of sanctuary. A friend. One that has to eat just as much dirt as you do. They're far and few, but can be the salvation you need to get through one more day. Sally is written in a way where frustration and responsibility is the focus. Her best banters are often with Sonic, where quick-witted exchange can happen, yet her actions are often pretty realistic, bar her obscenely high alcohol tolerance. She is probably the character that most can truly relate to, and that's nested by that same frustration and responsibility she has. Still, if writing can make a character good, voice acting can make a character great. Here's Axus with a little bit of her work on and off Spinning Egg Zone.
Hello, I'm Axus or Astroaxis of Astropill. I know, that can get confusing. Nice to meet you. I think I started taking voice acting a bit more seriously around 2014, but I mostly did small online projects here and there starting out, and had been on and off since then, but I'm taking more steps recently. Shoutouts to Let's Dub Project for being one of my super early things I ever tried online. A few of the things I've been in over the years include Katawa Shoujo, Miles Edgeworth Investigations, Ghost Trick, among others with the Let's Dub Project, LJ's Black Butler parody, a project called Bulltoon Weekly that covers anime, some escape room voiceover and trailers for Scrap Entertainment, a lot of indie projects and other stuff, and of course, Spinning Egg Zone. I am currently working towards an animation demo and hope to get signed by an agency soon. Hire me, everybody! Is that too much? Sorry. So Martin and LJ pulled me into Spinning Egg Zone, and I met them both from the Let's Dub Project. I auditioned for the Miles Edgeworth Investigations Let's Dub Project in 2014 on Behind the Voice Actors, and the rest is history. The writing and animation are awesome in Spinning Egg Zone. Amazing job, Whitty and Martin, and of course everyone in the voice cast. I have always loved Sally ever since I saw her in the Sonic cartoons as a kid, even though I never really knew too much about what was going on in the story or really much about her, but she was always super cool to me. Spinning Egg Zone's interpretation of her is hilarious. It was challenging but fun to play the straight man that's just so done with everyone's lunacy, that also finally cracks and lets out an explosion of frustration. I love how, off the wall the characters are written, and I'm happy I was brought on. I was also really blown away by how amazing everyone is at improv. Makes me really want to step it up. As for me, I have mostly been doing Let's Plays and art stuff on my YouTube and Twitch channels, Astropill. Oftentimes, I will play games with lots of dialogue to practice voice acting with, so feel free to come hang out if you want to. Thanks!
Thank you, Axus, and please visit her channel. It'll be a link below, and it will also be linked up here in the upper right-hand corner. It's funny. Sally has started off as a throwaway cameo, but has since grown perhaps to be the 4th most important character in the series, only behind Sonic, Ivo, and Iizuka himself. I feel episode 5 really drives into the soul of her character. Her position is truly thankless and filled with nonsense expectations. And yet, she presses on. And the song you hear now, I Drank Alone by Track Tribe, feels like it goes well with her. Even the title. A somber set of strings that aren't quite hopeless, and the drums beating as if every day is a battle that she's willing to go into. Her spirit is damaged but not crushed, even as another day of exhaustion is waiting around the corner, and she copes with it with a bottle of alcohol as the lights dim.